Welcome to Mixing Night. I'm your host, Ken Lewis. I have the weirdest resume in the entire music industry, and tonight, scary stuff, is the AI episode. Be afraid, be very, very afraid. This tech is rolling out so fast, and it is so incredibly powerful. It has the ability to greatly enhance your creativity and your creative output. And, it also has the ability to completely replace large portions of not only the music industry, but like countless other industries too. AI will definitely be the most disruptive tech that I've seen in my very long lifetime, and it will have a profound effect on us all. Tonight, we catch you up to speed on some of the most amazing emerging tech and where I think it's all going. Our team here at Mixing Night has poured ourselves into exploring this tech, and tonight we bring you some of the wildest cutting-edge creative tools. Our minds have been melted here. It's been really wild. We have two special non-AI segments tonight. First is ear training, rapid fire frequencies. Oh, that's bringing that one back. With our special guest, Len Kewis. Y'all thought Len wasn't a real dude, and he's on the show for a second time tonight, so you're going to see Len again. And we're also featuring the BOCES High School audio program from Riverdale, New York. Yes, Len Kewis makes another appearance with the BOCES audio program. They're going to participate in ear training, and they're also going to do... we have a segment for them later in the show. It's so cool. Their instructor, William Spurl, had them do the Grizzly Adams sprint mixes that we gave away for free last month, and he videotaped some of them just going through their sprints and then answering some questions afterwards. I'm going to play that real late in the broadcast, but man, if you're a student right now, this is truly fascinating stuff. And big shout out to BOCES. I hope you guys are tuning in. Light up the chat roll. Let us know you're there. So tonight's sprint mix is a modern classic, Believer by Imagine Dragons. Imagine Dragons, they get a lot of flack, but I love them. I've never worked with them. I would love to. Hey guys, call me. But I have great admiration for the singer, Dan Reynolds. Turns out both Dan and I do share one thing in common, which is the same autoimmune disease, which is, so Believer is a song about that disease. Pain, you make me a believer. Yep. Hey Ken, where did you get those stems from for Believer? Hey, they're out there. I'm pretty sure the band put them out themselves like a few years ago. So if you want to sprint mix this too, go find the Believer stems, volume randomize them yourself, set the clock for 10 minutes, and you can do your own sprint just like I'm about to do. I'm starting with 36 mixed stems. And then I had Jedi Jonathan Garcia over there, volume randomize everything. And I put 10 minutes on the clock. That gives me approximately 16 seconds per stem to make every decision I'm going to make for it, plus work on the mix bus. It's the best rough mix that you can possibly do in 10 minutes. It really helps you to shed the technology and stop relying on plugins first and learn how to instinctively strike great balances. Balance is like 80% of mixing, and it's always the foundation. So that's what sprint mixing teaches you, to bring balance to the force. May the force be with you. Me and Mazakeen Lewis. Hey Maz. Mazzy's going to be a little treat horse tonight, I can tell. Me and Mazakeen Lewis have a tremendous show cooked up for you guys tonight. Stay tuned to have your minds blown. This is the AI episode, and we are going to sprint mix Believer. Did I normalize this? I did. Ooh, this is a hard one. 36. I actually think 37 stems in 10 minutes. Let's see what my chops look like tonight. Boom. Don't save. All right. 10 minutes on the clock right here. Welcome to Mixing Night. Here we go. 7 minutes left, 3 minutes down, 3 minutes left, or 7 minutes left.
Like Ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. It rained down like ooh. This lasts by the grace of the fire and the flames. You're the face of the future, the blood in my veins. Oh, ooh, the blood in my veins. Oh, ooh. But they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. I was floating in the ground, building my wings up in the cloud, falling from ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings they would drown. But they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. Here I was choking in the ground, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings they...
I have a surprise for everybody. I'm going to show this a little bit later in the show. Here is just one of the 5 chains from the new Mixing Night Audio plugin LOLCOMP. We are about to go into alpha, so alpha team get ready, beta team get ready. We're hoping to be to market in a couple months, but here's a little taste of LOLCOMP. This is the best thing we ever did.
I was choking in the crowd, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings they would drown. But they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. It rained down. I was choking in the crowd, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings they would drown. But they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained.
We have the stupidest sense of humor on planet Earth. I love it so much.
I was choking in the crowd, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground. Hope
everything is in the mix. Am I missing anything? No, everything is in there somewhere. And I have 2 minutes 45 to make it all fit.
My head, I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. inside my head. I'm fired up and tired. Send a prayer to the ones up above. All the hate that you've heard has turned your spirit to a dove. Oh, ooh, your spirit up above. Oh, ooh. I was choking in the crowd, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to but my feelings, they would drown, but they never did ever live that.
Maybe the snare's too loud. There's a couple other balances that aren't quite perfect, but 10 minutes for 36 stems. I feel pretty good about that result. So hey, welcome to Mixing Night. This is Ken Lewis. You have found us. Mazakeen Lewis is hanging out, holding down security tonight. Man, we have just an absolutely action-packed AI show for you guys. So we were going to open the show doing like an altered voice using AI, but it turns out you got to do it in real time using online processing while we also broadcast a show, and there was not enough data. So if you guys haven't seen that shit yet, there's like TikToks and stuff out there that show this guy talking normally, then he just switches his voice straight to like a Kanye voice, and it's dead on. And then he does like a rap, and it sounds exactly like Kanye just did his new shit. Fucking mind blowing. So anyway, this is the AI episode. Be afraid, be very afraid. I'm gonna jump right in with some Q&A. Chris. These are pre-submitted questions. Chris Dacaron asks, "Hey Ken, will AI take our mixing jobs? If so, how can we stay ahead of this?" Well, maybe. I think the Wave StudioVerse, which I'm going to show later on in the broadcast, is a good glimpse into like round one of AI mixing. I think it's going to advance probably quicker than any of us like. The thing that you have to remember at the end of the day is, yeah, AI is going to replace a bunch of us. But taste is what I hope you can never truly replace, is taste. You can have AI give you a bunch of different shades, and maybe one of those shades lines up perfectly and is like the perfect taste for you. But my hope is that I've insulated myself, but I don't know. It's looking bleak out there. Steven asks, "Hey Ken, what are your thoughts on AI-generated voices that sound similar to popular artists? Should the artist they sound like be entitled to any royalties made from the AI-generated voice, or should the person who created said voice be entitled to them? It clearly seems like we are headed towards a major law copyright issue." Steven, I could not agree more. We are definitely headed towards a major law copyright issue. I don't think it can come quickly enough. Like David Guetta just used an Eminem voice live on stage without Eminem knowing or Eminem's approval, and Eminem's pretty pissed about it. At least that's what I hear. But that we as creatives are going to have to get used to this technology being used in ways that either we don't like or that we love, that makes us feel way, way, way more creative. But I think just like when Auto-Tune came out and people were like, well, fuck, man, Auto-Tune, now non-singers can sing. Okay, well, morph that up to AI. Now, non-whatever can type in a bunch of prompts, and eventually they're going to be able to create a pretty darn convincing piece of music that sounds pretty darn good. They don't even have to put their own voice on it. They could develop their own voice as a combination of, we were talking this out earlier, and I was like, well, okay, so if you can train an AI to sound like, Kanye or Kendrick or Justin Bieber or whoever, why can't you say, okay, AI, I want a combination of Justin Bieber and Kanye and Kendrick and Adele, and see what it gives you. And it's going to give you something that doesn't sound like any of those four and something unique. And then that's going to be your new AI voice. I mean, it's great and terrible times ahead, I think. I think the courts are going to be active with this stuff. Steven asks, hey Ken, if I'm a producer and I use AI generated voices to sing lyrics and melodies I come up with, so if you sing lyrics and melodies that you come up with using a similar voice to a popular artist, what would the role of the label and streaming sites be and the entire music industry be? I see. So if you put out like a Kendrick Lamar knockoff or a Drake knockoff that wasn't Drake at all, but you said it was like, you know, Flake. So this is Flake's new single and it sounds exactly like a new Drake single. Again, I think that's going to happen. That is absolutely going to happen. I don't know what is going to be done about it. But this stuff is all coming so fast at us that I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I mean, creatively, a lot of this stuff is going to leap us forward creatively. Like, I'm going to be showing MidJourney sometime later on, or maybe we can just show that MidJourney stuff right now. So MidJourney is the best AI for creative art, like AI art. And Dominic was showing us MidJourney, and then Lori started using it, and the stuff is phenomenal. I mean, it just does such a great job, and you can modify until you get the perfect thing. So, you know, again, that's going to be great and terrible for artists. Artists are going to be able to make their own album covers, make their own videos, make a lot more of their own content. But there's going to be a lot more content out there because it's just going to be easier to create. So, you know, my fear with social media and AI in general is that everybody now is trying to get your attention. I'm trying to get your attention. And if everybody's trying to get everybody else's attention, nobody is following you and paying attention. And so fewer people, you get it. Yeah. Anyway. I'm going to get back to the show. God, I have a lot to cover tonight. What is... Oh, I'm going to show you Dark Ronson, speaking of being afraid. So, here. Nolan Monigold put together a scary segment on how AI analyzed Mark Ronson and spit out a new piece of music. Check it out.
Hey there, Mixing Night. My name's Nolan Monigold, and I'm here to tell you about some of the upcoming things and the already existing things that AI is bringing to us in the creative world. Buckle up, there's a lot to go through. We've all heard about DALL-E, MidJourney, image generators that are AI-powered, and you just type in what you want to see and it spits it out. Those are all cool. Now, what don't you have access to? It's already being used by people that are studying AI deeply and are involved in the industry, and the stuff that they are making with it is reaching the uncanny valley between really, really digital and really, really convincing and emotional music. Take a listen to this Bruno Mars sample from Uptown Funk. See if you can notice when it changes from the original. I think you'll be able to. Make a dragon wanna retire, man, I'm too hot. Shit my lane, you know who I am, I'm too hot. If I must have I wanna break it down, go. Now, what you just heard was 12 seconds of original audio that was fed into the artificial intelligence. The machine learning algorithm then takes in that information, breaks it down effectively into Legos. Red, green, blue, yellow, put together a house from those pieces. Now, what really comes into power is the fact that the artificial intelligence is able to take all of these different pieces of data, these tokens, these Legos, and identify them as what they are, and put them together in an actually legible and convincing way to make something that isn't just new and you've never heard, but sounds darn near like the original artist themselves. This is getting into deepfake territory, which is a very hot topic in artificial intelligence right now. Is it ethical? I don't know. Is it cool? Absolutely. Should you learn about it? 100%.
We're doomed. This is like version 1, and this shit is that good already. But for songwriters, it's going to be fucking amazing. You're just going to be able to have ChatGPT dial up like a feel for you, and they'll be able to cook up a beat. You'll be able to write to it, and let GTP 4 or 5 or whatever we're going to be up to help you with lyrics. I was talking to a songwriter today who uses GTP 4 to bounce lyrical ideas off. And he says, it's like writing with an amateur, but every now and then they come up with something really, really clever. So I think that's really interesting. So next, I want to talk about the Mike Miller ATMOS Masterclass that happened 2 weeks ago at Sweetwater Sound in the middle of nowhere, Fort Wayne, Indiana. I had never been out to Sweetwater. If you didn't know, Sweetwater has 2,600 employees on site in Fort Wayne. It is, I was blown away by that place. And they have the most amazing music store there. They have 3 killer studios. They have a game room and the food court and like a shopping district. It's bananas. It's like a little town. So anyway, Mike Miller, who is, I would consider the king of ATMOS. Mike Miller held a master class for ATMOS at Sweetwater Sound, and me and Jonathan see this, and we were like, "What? Yeah, okay, we're signing up for that shit." So we signed up immediately, and I think there was I felt like maybe there was like 10 or 14 of us in the class. Several heavy hitters. Jeff Braun was there. He's fucking amazing. And Mike basically showed us what he's doing in ATMOS. Really fucking, I felt like he leveled me up. And Jonathan leveled up for sure. And I feel like I just have kind of a much more clarity on it. I have a much more focused approach to ATMOS now. And man, if you missed that master class, if Mike does another one next year, don't miss it, because you'll see me there again. Thank you, Mike Miller. That was really incredible. And shout outs to Brad and Candace, who also put on a hell of an event. Everything just went so smooth. It was so much fun to be there. And it's really cool because on this show, all I do is fucking share knowledge. And I've always taken the Dave Pensato approach to be like, Dave always was really, and still is, very, very free with sharing his knowledge. And that inspired me early on. And, and here comes Mike Miller now teaching everybody and leveling us up. So thank you, Mike. Let's see. What is next on the... Oh, I guess I can show you a little bit more of LOLCOMP. We're not going to give too much away on LOLCOMP because... All right, I'll show you a little bit, and then I'll talk a lot about it. All right, so if you didn't know... Mixing Night has our own plugin company, and our plugin company is Mixing Night Audio, and we make the craziest little plugins you ever did see. So here's our first one. This is out. You can get this right now. Greenhouse. So Greenhouse is like, it's a saturator spreader with filters and modulators, but really it's a vibe box. So if you got shit that's too sterile, Greenhouse it. If something's a little bit too vanilla, Greenhouse it. So we kicked around a lot of ideas on what to follow up with, and I always wanted to do a plugin called LOLCOMP, and it is as stupid as what you think it is. So it's basically 5 chains to rule them all. These are 5 of... I can't show you. I'm not going to give the whole plugin away. But these are 5 of my chains cooked up under the hood, tweaked carefully. They changed parameters as you go, so it's really a very active plugin that's very easy to use, and you just find where on the dial your thing sounds best. There's 5 different chains. There's vocal, we're using Panda right now, which is like a limiter, punch chain, and the peacock chain, which is like a pretty chain, and dragon chain, which is like distortion, and then you have the parallel, which is a drop down, and you have a bunch more functionality on the parallel. This thing, man, we fucking did it. Oh my god. I've been mixing like the last couple months with like the pre-alpha of this thing, and it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do, exactly the way I designed it. I've stopped using a bunch more other plugins that I haven't barely touched them anymore. And this has become a main staple really quickly. I'll give you guys next month. I'll give you guys a full run through on it. Here's the little bit of the stupidity. So, we're squeezing more. Oh, are we gonna go too far? We went too far. Wah, wah. So, Mixing Night Audio, leave it to us. And I guess I can... this isn't the vocal chain, so it's not going to sound super great on vocals, but I'll just give you a little preview of what it's doing. I can't show you under the hood.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second thing, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh.
That one pushes a little bit in the saturation at the tippy top of it, and it's basically a hard limiter that's happening, and a bunch of other stuff is going on under the hood too. It's way more complicated than just like a compression going on. Man, I can't wait to show you guys next month, and then hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll be to market by June. So fingers crossed. Alpha team, get ready. What do we have next on the program? Ozone 10 Rebalance and Mastering Assistant. This is gonna blow your fucking minds if you are not hip to this stuff yet. This stuff is... So, who's familiar with the plugin company Isotope? As long as I remember working, I've been using their plugins. And lately, they have become a really crucial part of my workflow, especially as a utility plugin. I'm going to show you this... Don't show the screen. I gotta find Ozone 10. No. Is it that? We're gonna say yes. Show folder. Okay, I'll find this, guys. 10 out of 10. Boom. So we took an obscene Stealer song. 10 out of 10. Run it back, you can do it again. You know the song. Man, that shit. Let me have my mind blown just for a second here. So, our Spotify numbers on 10 out of 10 are 86,866 spins. What? We released this in January 27th. That's just over 2 months, and we have 86,000 spins. So, anybody out there listening, whoa, thank you very much. That song is doing really, really well for us. Looks like we might start catching some Obscene Stealers syncs, so could be a good run for us coming up. Okay, check this out. So here's the final master of Obscene Stealers 10 out of 10. Okay, what Ozone 10 does, I'm not going to bore you because it takes a while to process, but you basically highlight the region that you want to affect, and then you find, where the fuck is Isotope? All the way at the bottom, Isotope, RX10, Rebalance. Here it is. RX10 Music Rebalance. This is some CSI voodoo shit. This just shouldn't be possible. So... I'm going to do one for you, so well, no, I'm not. So, here, this will separate into 4 separate bands. Vocal, bass, percussion, and everything else, which is usually like keys and guitars and strings and stuff like that. So, you have to run that 4 times so that you get 4 different stems. And then, here is the vocal pulled out of that entire dense mix.
God, so send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Catch me, it ain't in the cards. Yeah, what's the bet? Where it went? I'm the best of the best, and I better be 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Here's the drums in that exact section. Bass. Again, this is all pulled, separated out with AI from this final stereo master. This is the shit that you can do now. You can do this stuff right now. You could do this with RX9, and RX10 is just even better at it. Jeez, this shit is scary. Let's see. Let's find this ending where it's really dense right here. So here's the reconstituted 4 separate stems played together, and I'll switch between those and the final. I mean, there's a little bit of artifacts, but my God, that's just insane technology. And then there's one other thing that RX10 does that I really like in AI land, which is Mastering Assistant. How you doing, Mazzy? You good? Mazzy is holding it down tonight. Gee. Mazzy had a really rough day. It's been storming all day here. We're under tornado watches, and Mazzy does not like storms, man. Not even rain, but man, when it thunders, and it's been rattling all day. So, poor Maz, but she seems calmed down now. I think Mazzy needs some iced coffee. That'll get her riled back up. Okay, I wanted to show you Mastering Assistant. So I haven't used this in a while. Let me see if I can remember it. So I imported the unmastered stereo final mix on this, and I just want to do a real basic Mastering Assistant run. Where the fuck is it? Jonathan, where's Mastering Assistant? I can't remember for the life of me. Well, I might do this later. Come in, Jonathan. Show this to me. Switches to the assistant view. Oh.
So send in the best that you got, but me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't in the cards. No one. We could do it again. We could do it again. I'm the best of the best, and I'll always be 10 out of 10. We could do it again.
I'm going to try doing that one more time because I feel like it was trying to master a really quiet section. Okay, so I'm switching real time between the Mastering Assistant Master, which I haven't tweaked at all. This is just first pass at whatever it gives me. You can really, here, let me, I'm not even going to mess with it. When I switch back and forth between these two, you can see the mutes on the screen, or you can see my fingers. The second one is the Ozone Mix Mastered. There you go. Let's get it a little closer. Boom. Okay. So, mastered mix, Ozone. Mastered mix, Ozone. We're going to start with mastered mix. It is competing with Howie Weinberg right now, so it's really like a knife to a gunfight, but still, I mean, in a matter of seconds, this is, you know, mastered to within 80% of what Howie does, and then you can tweak it and tailor it from here. And here's the thing about Mastering Assistant. I don't think it's ever going to get you the best results possible, but there are some ungodly, like 25,000, 30,000 songs a day, every single day, 365 days a year being uploaded to Spotify and streaming services. So if there's really that much content, not all of it's going to get mastered. Not all of it needs to get mastered. And a lot of the creatives out there who are just kind of getting their feet wet and building and learning, then, you know, this is going to be a great tool to allow them to hear what your song sounds like much closer to radio ready and finished. And then you can do exactly what I'm doing, put it up against a mastered song that you really like and work on the settings until it feels more like that mastered song that's one of your favorites. So there you have it. Man, that's such dope technology. I haven't used it in a while. All right. And that Ozone 10, man, that's... you know, Lori and I used to watch CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, back in the day. And they would always do these fucking stupid things with audio. And we would be watching that and we would be going, no, you can't do that. No. And I stand corrected. This was one of the things that they used to do, isolate audio. I was like, I'm calling bullshit. Well, they're getting pretty good at it, I gotta say. They're getting really, really good at it. All right. Let's see. Anything from the chat roll? I think I'm going to go to Marcus Manderson. So Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery, brings you a combination of AI technologies tonight. He took 4 different AI techs to step-by-step create a deep fake, and it's mind-blowing what he did in a very short period of time. And the real lesson here is, as this technology scales up and as high-level people use it for good or nefarious ways, man, it's going to be a different world. So roll Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery.
What's good, everyone? This is Marcus DeFingers, back with another Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment. In this Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment, we're going to talk all about AI and specifically how you can animate your AI artwork, add voiceovers and things like that. Let's get right into it. I'm going to show you how I put together an animation that's all from AI. So first, I went into Canva. If you did not know, Canva now allows you to do text to image, and I put in this text right here. Music producer sitting at a mixing desk in the recording studio, intense lighting, background is an old castle, looking into the camera, detailed face and beard, black person, Unreal Engine, Q2. I can't go into the details of what all that means, but I actually took that inspired from another post, which I'll share at the end of this segment here. And this is the image that it spit out. It actually gave me 4 images. I did this a couple times. I hit create again until I found an image I liked, and I really liked this image here. Again, you don't see the castle in the background, but you do see that he's looking into the camera. You see the face and beard. So this is the character I created in Canva. You can do something similar in something like MidJourney, DALL-E, whatever other resources are shared in this episode. You can put in something similar text. The more detailed, the better. This is the character we have. I didn't give him a name, but that is the artwork. So I downloaded that to the computer. Next, I went over to Bard. Bard is very similar to ChatGPT. Bard is the Google version of ChatGPT, and I just put in, write me a 50-word tale about an audio engineer in the style of Shakespeare, and it created this small poem limerick thing. So that is a text that was created in Bard. Again, Bard is very similar to ChatGPT and things like that. And that is the poem. Those are the words that I selected. So I took this poem and then we went over to Well Said Labs. Well Said Labs is where I get the voice, is where you can get the voice, the AI voice. If you go to Well Said Labs, you can create, you can have these different characters you can choose from. I'll play a couple samples here. Let's go to Alana.
Your creative life will evolve in ways that
Your creative life will evolve in ways that you
Your creative life will evolve in ways.
So you have all these different characters. You can also filter by different filters and countries of voice attributes. We won't get into all of that, but I chose Joe F, and I put in our text here, and this is what it sounds like.
An audio engineer did work so fine. He made the music sound divine. He tweaked the knobs and turned the dials until the sound was perfect by the gods and all. The band was pleased, the audience was awed, and the engineer was paid in gold.
So maybe not as prolific as the poet laureate Laurie Lewis, but we have what we have. So we have the artwork, we have the text, we have the voice. How do we put all that together? This is where we go to DID. And what I did here was go to create a video. I added my own artwork here, that artwork from Canva that we created, and I uploaded that. I uploaded the voice audio here as an MP3, and it applied it to the video, and then I downloaded the video, and this is the final video that we have right here.
An audio engineer did work so fine. He made the music sound divine. He tweaked the knobs and turned the dials until the sound was perfect by the gods and all. The band was pleased, the audience was awed, and the engineer was paid in gold.
So as you can see, DID took the audio, it animated the face. I didn't do any animations to the face. If you want, you can go into other video editors and try to edit the beard and movement of the arms and things. But this is just a great way. And again, this is really just version 1 of all this AI technology. If you need more information about this, definitely replay this. Again, this was created using Canva, but you can use MidJourney, DALL-E, anything like that. This, also using Bard, you can use ChatGPT instead of that. Well Said Labs, there might be other voice generations and things like that. And then DID for the video and gluing it all together. And I will also include a link to this video which inspired this segment. This is Alex Pfeffer, a trailer music composer who also took the same format and he did these exact steps to create and animate that character with AI. So check that out. I'll include a link in the Discord for that. This is AI. This is the future. So let's use it to our advantage. Great for marketing, great for building characters and things like that. So this has been Marcus DeFingers with another Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment. Be safe and be well, everyone. All right. Peace.
Thank you, Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery. You always bring us the best segments, man. That was such a cool one. My mind is so blown by this. It's so early. Imagine what this stuff is going to be in 5 years. You're not even going to be sure if I'm the person sitting here or if AI Ken Lewis is then hosting Mixing Night. You won't even know. You don't know. You don't even know now. Maybe I am an AI. What? Oh, be careful. So, they just told me in the control room that Mike Miller is on. Mike Miller, gotta love you, dude. Thank you so much. And thanks for tuning in. People, if he's on the chat roll, pepper him with questions. He is a guy that you need to be asking knowledge from. MBI asks, hey Ken, what is the 12-string guitar next to the bass in the background? You mean this one? So, I got this one when I was a kid. My dad got this for me for Christmas or a birthday. It is a PV Milestone 12-string electric guitar. And playing Prince Purple Rain on this sounds so beautiful. You cannot imagine. And I've owned this, man, I bet I've had this 30 to 35 years. Maybe longer than that. Still in immaculate condition, still sounds beautiful, still plays great. Yeah, I got a bunch of nice guitars. And so, yeah, thanks for asking, MBI. Boom, don't fall. Let's see, what is next on the program? Okay, we got some Q&A that we can still get to. I'm going to do... this is a perfect segment. I'll get to that. Vita Flanagan asks, hey Ken, I'd like to learn more about your hardware setup and ATMOS mixing tips. So we did an ATMOS specific program, I think like October of 21. And it was like the 20 essential things you need to know about ATMOS. And I would definitely still go back and watch that show. It's very informative. The setup, you know, we spent a ton of time listening to the speakers and dialing them in, first by metering and then by ear. I think ATMOS is just a gargantuan tech challenge So if you're not a super techie, you might start learning it on headphones first. Really be my recommendation. Learn it on headphones, and then if it's for you, take some of your mixes to rooms with speakers and hear what your mixes are translating like. And then if you really love it and you want to go all in, get some great speakers and start atmosing. Baby girl, are you spoiled or what? Mazzy is like, I'm not having it, Dad. I want a treat and I want it now. Lay down. Come on. Lay down. Lay down. There you go. Good girl. Lay down. There you go. I know. See what you get? I know. You be a good girl. She is such a sweetie. I think I answered that. And Ulysses Argueta asks, hey Ken, how could I make my project sound more mainstream and make it sound more like it belongs on the radio instead of a boring song? Well, the one thing I wanted to show you guys tonight, so I've been up for a while on a site called soundbetter.com, and most of what I do on SoundBetter is song critiques. So there's a top nav at the top called Sound Checks, and you can go to SoundBetter Sound Checks and you will find me immediately, and you can hire me to critique your song there. And you should be seeing on screen some of the really nice things that people have been saying lately about my sound checks, which is awfully flattering. But really, if you send me a song to critique, I probably spend between a half hour and an hour. I really dig into it. I answer any questions that you have about it that you want me to answer while I'm listening. I give you any insights and suggestions that I have from all of my experience. And y'all probably don't know what my experience actually is, but I mean, like the surface. I got 114 gold records. I've worked with fucking everybody. But I've done so many different things in so many different lanes, in so many different genres, wearing so many different hats, that it's just a different thing. So, as a critiquer, I am really able to listen to a song from many, many different perspectives. And now I'm an artist with obscene stealers, and so even somewhat as an artist and getting out on promotion and things like that, I can help in a limited way with indie artists like that. So if you need a song critique and you need somebody who is going to tell you the real fucking deal and give you as much help as they can and before your song is finished forever, then go over to SoundBetter and check me out. Let's see, what is next on the... Oh, we just built ATMOS Studio B, which I'm sitting in right now and totally in love with. And but this is like, this is the basic studio. It sounds killer, but this isn't the main room. The main room right now is being designed and built by my friend. I'll get it on the screen in a second. Instagram is, there it is, Mike DiSalvo at ibuildmusicstudios.com. I don't know if that's his .com. iBuildMusicStudios is his IG handle. So I've known Mike forever. If any of you guys saw my patch bay, actually this desk, Mike built this fucking desk for me. This is an awesome desk. Anyway, he's brilliant. And he's building Studio A for me and designing it, and I couldn't be happier about that. Man, if you guys need somebody that you can really, really trust to... and the cool thing is, he does mostly remote work, so he can, come in and evaluate on site for a day or two and get a whole game plan together, and then he can usually quarterback it from afar and maybe come in one more time before the project is over, something like that. And so, as we get into construction on Studio A, we're going to be documenting it, and I'm going to, bring you the full post, the good, bad, and the ugly. And man, thankfully, not with Mike at all. The I Build Music Studios has been great, but I already have some absolute horror stories in studio building land to share with you guys. So, it'll be the what to watch out for and sidestep and go around and who to call when you need them. So as we build Studio A, it's going to be super exciting around here. And A is going to be a fully immersive room. We're going to have ATMOS 916. We're going to have Sony 360, full speaker arrays. So we're really getting it done in that room. And I'm super excited about it. What is next? Ooh, so next we have some more mind-blowing tech. Nolan did another segment on GTP4 as a songwriting assistant. Again, just what the fuck, people? So, what are you barking at, baby? She wants a treat. So, fire away.
Songwriting with artificial intelligence. Let me paint a picture for you. It's your freshman year of college. You're sitting alone in your dorm room, and you're not feeling creative. What are you going to do? Turn to ChatGPT! Now you're able to have a complete songwriting partner right in the palm of your hand. You want somebody to tell you that the song you're writing is good and the lyrics are coming along well? It'll do that. Want it to give you some advice on what to do to even get your song started? It'll do that too. Take a look at what we did over this past week to show how fun and easy it is to work and be creative with this new generative AI technology. So we started out by just basically asking for what we want. The more detailed you are with the parameters, the better it's going to perform for you. Like asking an assistant or somebody else to help you out with something, details matter. We asked it for a song in the style of Mark Ronson, among other details, and it started spitting. It's given us full lyric lead sheets. It's given us full chord progressions. Now, some may argue that this is not creative, and some would be right. Now, what is creative is the way you interpret it. You can have it give you MIDI data and actually spit it out. It's good at writing code, and it'll work. Or it can give you tab, and then you're the one that performs it. So there's basically something for everybody within this style. If you just want a songwriting partner that you're the one that gives all the details to, and you just want to use it like basically a way to gain confidence as a songwriter, that's amazing. That's a tool that we've all needed for a while. Someone to tell us, yeah, you're doing a good job, or maybe this could be better. It's synthetic, but something. Now on the other side, you can use it as a Mad Libs thing, where you just put it in and say, hey, write a song about this, this, and this, and leave the name blank, and I'll put it in myself. Or hell, maybe even have it put the name in for you. It'll rhyme it for you, it'll put it all together. Maybe you hate writing lyrics, or maybe you hate writing melodies, or maybe you hate this and want to get better at that. It's a way to learn, and a way to get better, and a way to make things quicker, not a way to finish things. 85% of the way, it can get you there. But the final 15% that makes the difference, that's on you.
So much more AI. It's crazy. Everything out there. I mean, if you're not on like TikTok or Instagram and you're not seeing a lot of these people roll out some of this creative AI tech, it's just mind-blowing. So let's see. Ken Lewis, current events. What's going on in my career? Whew, it has been nutty lately. What's been happening? So recently I talked about it on a previous show, and I did a full production breakdown of Bruce Sudano, Make the World Go Away. I produced and recorded and mixed it, and we just cracked 250,000 views this week, which Bruce is super excited about. Me too. We love the song. Here, I'll just play like a quick half second of it for you.
Can you take the weight off my shoulders? I'm tired of carrying it around. Feels like a ton of bricks I'm wearing. Oh Lord, only you can help me now. Somebody set the room on fire. There ain't no easy way to put it out. Make the world go away. Make the world go away. Make the world go away. Make the world go away.
I love the cinematography on that thing. Man, they really captured a mood in that I felt like I was going for in the song as a producer. So well done there with the video, Bruce, and clearly people are responding to it really well. That's exciting. So I also had a mix of a big Mando pop group called Mirror, which we're about to use for ear training. Their brand new single Rumors just dropped. I mixed it. Boom. Hell yeah. Taylor Swift, have you guys seen the the TikToks of her tour happening right now? Wow. I'm impressed. Jeez, that looks amazing. So I engineered on the current Taylor Swift single, Lavender Haze. I engineered on Lavender Haze, Vigilante Shit, and Question. And Dom show founder, Mixing Night founder, Dom Ravinius played drums on those songs. Boom. Yeah, so that was a great one for us. And seeing her on tour right as the single is going, it's I recently mixed the BTS leader RM, his new single Closer, and I talked about it, I think, last broadcast, and they did just the most beautiful video for it that you've ever seen. Vibe Santana, Ho Tonight, love that fucking song. It's such a love song. And Layla Layla Blue Buzzkill is coming out soon. She's been firing it up on her TikTok and Instagram. God damn, that song is like straight fire. So check out Layla Blue Buzzkill. I know I have other shit going on. I'm mixing Donna Summer in ATMOS right now, mixing her hits from her catalog. That has been so fun and so challenging. What else do I got? Man, there's some shit I can't talk about. I am not going to NAMM. I've had like 10 people ask me. I never go to NAMM. It just hasn't appealed to me. All right, what's next on the show? Ooh, so my friend Arnaud, who is a brilliant engineer in Toulouse, France, bonjour or bonsoir, Arnaud, introduced me to these headphones. Well, he let me use them while I was in France the last time I was doing master classes there. And it's these guys. Well, no, it's the stereo brother of these guys. So so the Ollo guys reached out and asked me if they could send me a pair to check out. So I was like, okay, but I promise you nothing. So they sent me, they have a new pair of immersive headphones. They're not, the Apple spatial audio, but they are immersive. And I was like, well, if they're not spatial audio and they're immersive, what's the fucking point? I didn't get it. So I was like, okay, keep an open mind. So so I got them, and we did a lot of ATMOS mixing this week, and we directly compared the immersive translation in these headphones to the Odyssey LCD XCs, and it's clearer, and the Ollos are clearer and more detailed. The imaging is, oh my goodness, the imaging is more detailed. You can feel things moving better. I'd still take the LCD XCs for stereo over these immersive ones, but for immersive, shit, I was impressed. So anyway, so I reached back out to the company and I was like, hey, these are cool. Any chance we can give a pair away soon? And they were like, okay, yeah, let's fucking do it. So in May, we're going to launch a new beat contest starting in May. And we're going to give a pair of Ollo immersive audio headphones to the winner of the beat contest, launching in May and finishing up on the June episode. So, man, somebody's going to get some killer headphones. Be in tune for that. But for mixing ATMOS, you got to make sure that your headphones and your speakers translate to sound like the same thing. Bitch, she's growling in protest. She never growls at anything. Like, Dad, I'm pissed. Lay down. Come on. Lay down, baby girl. You got to look cute on camera. You're like the whole selling point of the show. I have no show without you, babe. All right. Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see who wins those and how they like them. But, man, yeah. What's next on? Oh, yes. I've been talking about Len Kewis for years, and y'all thought I was making him up. And over and over I said, look, we're not related. It's just we share similar names. It's just a quirk. But Len Kewis made an earlier appearance on the show, but tonight he is back to host ear training along with the BOCES high school audio program in Riverdale, New York. So basically, I think if I get this right. Their audio program is like a conglomerate of like 19 or 20 high schools, and their high school is the creative high school for all of those districts. So if you want to go to like the creative arts high school, it's them, and they have audio, like a full audio program for anybody that I guess that wants it. I'm not really sure how that works, but it's fucking dope. And their teacher, William Spurl, does an amazing job. Just watch. Here we go. Ear training. The ear training worksheet is in the description of the video you are watching right now. Go grab the ear training worksheet so that you can follow along. This is rapid fire frequencies, and Len Kewis is going to explain how to do it. Here we go. Hello, killers. This is Len Kewis bringing you Mixing Night Ear Training, April 5th, 1987. Using the Mando pop artist Mirror and their future new single, Rumors, mixed by my future arch nemesis, Ken Lewis. This is rapid fire frequencies on Mixing Night. We start by listening to the unaffected song intro, and then every 4 bars there will be a new EQ boost, non-stop for 14 examples. Each boost will be different and no frequencies repeat. One segment has no EQ boost at all. All right, how are we scoring? 3 points for an exact guess, 1 point for guessing the adjacent frequency. So if you guessed 4K and the correct answer was 5K or 3K, give yourself 1 point. And if you guessed the bonus of no EQ, give yourself 5 points for the bonus question. And good luck, young Jedis. May the Force be with you, always. Len Kewis out! Dry. Here we go. 1.
Made me wanna get in trouble. Find a bottom of a bottle. Girl, somewhere where you and I blurring out the lines. I get a little na.
2.
I'ma make you let me take the wheels and hold them steady. I'ma follow every curve, put it in reverse. Get a little na.
3.
Ooh, you made me go mad. Got me dreaming of a body. Take it to the moon, baby, let me do what I do. Cause I think that you
4.
yeah, I think that you know. Yeah, I think that you heard. What I can do. Cause I think that you
5.
yeah, I think that you know. Cause I think that you heard. Buckle up, baby, we're going for a drive.
6.
Just like a waterfall, swag, dripping, oh. I turn the heat up cause we got it going on.
We'll make it, ooh, we're gonna take it high. There ain't no stopping, we about to kiss the sky.
7.
I'ma make you let me take the wheels and hold them steady. I'ma follow every curve, put it in reverse. Get a little na.
Here's your orange. Here's your lemons. 8.
Ooh, you made me go mad. Got me dreaming of your body. Ooh, you kill me when you do it like that. Yeah, do it like nobody.
9.
I promise I ain't gon' make you sweat. Oh, I promise we run out of breath. Take me to the moon, baby, let me do what I do. 'Cause I think
10.
that you heard. Yeah, I think that you know. Yeah, I think that you heard. What I can do. 'Cause I think that
11.
you heard. Yeah, I think that you know. 'Cause I think that you heard. Buckle up, baby, we're going for a drive now.
12. Lucky 13.
Want you want me. We can make it happen anytime, baby. I want you want me. We can make it happen anytime, baby.
14.
Can get it right, everything we do. Every single night, baby, me and you. I'll never let you go. 'Cause I think you know.
Okay, let's give it a second listen, starting with the dry example. Dry. Here we we go. 1.
Make me wanna get in trouble. Find the bottom of a bottle. Girl, somewhere where you and I blurring out the lines. I get a little na.
2.
I'ma make you let me take the wheels and hold them steady. I'ma follow every curve, put it in reverse, get a little na.
3.
Ooh, you made me go mad. Got me dreaming of a body, take it to the moon. Baby, let me do what I do. 'Cause I think that you
4.
yeah, I think that you know. Yeah, I think that you heard. What I can do. 'Cause I think that you
5.
yeah, I think that you know. 'Cause I think that you heard. Buckle up, baby, we're going for a drive.
6.
Just like a waterfall, swag, dripping, oh. I turn the heat up cause we got it going on.
We'll make it, ooh, we're gonna take it high. There ain't no stopping, we about to kiss the sky.
7.
I'ma make you let me take the wheels and hold them steady. I'ma follow every curve, put it in reverse, get a little na.
8.
Ooh, you made me go mad. Got me dreaming of your body. Ooh, you kill me when you do it like that. Yeah, do it like nobody.
9.
I promise I ain't gon' make you sweat. Oh, I promise we run out of breath. Take it to the moon, baby, let me do what I do. 'Cause I think
10.
that you heard. Yeah, I think that you know. Yeah, I think that you heard. What I can do. 'Cause I think that
11.
you heard. Yeah, I think that you know. 'Cause I think that you heard. Buckle up, baby, we're going for a drive now.
12.
Lucky
13.
Want you and me, we can make it happen anytime, baby. I want you want me, we can make it happen anytime, baby.
14.
Get it right, everything we do, every single night, baby, me and you, I'll never let you go. 'Cause I think you know.
Okay, here comes the big reveal. How did you do? Here we go. 1. 200 hertz, lower mids. 2. 5K, upper mids. 3. 1K, mid-range.
Got me dreaming of a body, take it to the moon, baby, let me do what I do. 'Cause I think that you
4. 8K, upper mids and highs. 5. 500, that real narrow boxy range. It really hurts. 6. 3K, mid-range presence and harshness. 7. 6K, top of the upper mids. 8. 100 hertz, feel that kick. 9. No EQ. 10. 7K, close to the high end. Listen to those hats. 11. 2K. Mid-range. 12. 300. Lower mids. 13. 9K. Listen to those hi-hats. 14. 700. That real boxy nasal range. 'All right, how did everybody do?
How'd you guys do? Anybody get 14 out of 14? Anybody get the one that wasn't EQ'd differently? Good, James. 10. 9. 9. Excellent. That's great. 8. 7. 7. Nathan, excellent. All right. So overall, you had how many right?
7 correct, or half correct. Or correct, I had 3 correct.
3 correct plus 7 adjacents.
No,
That's
3 correct plus 4 adjacents.
Oh, so total of 7. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, obviously we consider this an important, skill for engineers, right? And again, you guys are listening on a set of Gen X in a room. You could probably hear it a lot more closely if you were on headphones. So that's always a challenge, a more challenging, use of the time. So anyway, you guys did great. Everybody say hi to Ken and Mix Night crew. And thanks, Ken. Thank you so much for including us in what you're doing. All right, take care.
All right, how did you all do on ear training? Post up your results on the chat roll, and let's see who had the high score. Bragging rights are up for grabs. So Birmingham Studios asks from the chat roll, hey, Ken, the SSL AWS analog console for sale. Where? I've got it up for sale on Reverb, but you could just call me. Also, why did I get rid of it? I haven't gotten rid of it. It's still here. But I am trying to sell it because I need to pay for speakers for ATMOS. My God, that is not cheap. So, it's a lot more time consuming to mix ATMOS on a analog console. And I'm really turning towards specializing in ATMOS and immersive mixing. So from a speed perspective and from I need to outfit my new studio that I'm building and pay for the construction, and I'm not rich. So it is what it is. But anyway, let's see. So I want to give a big giant shout out to AJ Smith. AJ Smith and his drummer Drew and their dog Bailey dropped in last night, and they're currently out on tour. They drove yesterday from Charleston, South Carolina, stayed with us, and I think they're playing Detroit tonight. So safe travels and have a great show, AJ. If you haven't checked out AJ Smith yet, follow him at I think all of his socials are AJ Smith, and he writes big giant pop songs and sings the shit out of them. He's great. So big shout out to you guys. It was really awesome having you. I got to cook breakfast for everybody. It was quite nice. What is next? Oh, and I want to give a big shout out to Bruce Sudano. I just did that a minute ago, but 250,000 views on Make the World Go Away. In 2 months. That's a great response. We weren't expecting that. Let's do some more Q&A. Some Q&AI. Post up on the chat roll if you got any questions for me, or you can fire away right here on IG. I can see if I can catch them. And I'm going to go to a couple more pre-submitted questions in the meantime. Mihai? Mihai asks, hey Ken, do you have a certain approach, maybe a certain mixing order of the steps that you take when mixing, like a recipe you follow? Can you reveal this recipe to us? And What are your color codes for instruments and sounds? Okay, I'll start with the easy one. My color codes are usually drums get blue. I usually use a couple different, 2-3 different shades of blue for different types of drums. 808s and basses get purple. Usually pianos or keys like Rhodes and stuff get yellow. Guitars are almost always green. Strings can be orange. The kind of the utility stuff is usually orange. My sound effects are usually brown. Backing vocals are pink. Ad-libs are halfway between pink and red on the Pro Tools color scale, so they're kind of magenta. And lead vocals are always red. And I stack them kind of top to bottom like that, so that my 808s are always top. It's kind of like heaviest to lightest. And with my lead vocal at the bottom, so I always know exactly where it is. It's a scroll down, and I always can find it super easily. And it makes me think about workflow a lot less. And a lot of what we do as professionals and creatives and mixers is shed as much thinking as possible so that you can turn your brain off and just listen to the damn music coming out of the speakers and then react to what you're listening to instead of looking at a plugin on a screen while you're listening to that and then asking yourself, what should I do on this plugin? And like your brain is scattered right there. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Pat Hunley asks, hey Ken, what do you think about when you use your Clariphonic EQ? Well, I have the outboard, which I use in my vocal chain, and I have the plugin, the Kush Clariphonic EQ plugin, which I also use. And in my vocal chain is, oh Maz, am I not feeding you enough tonight, baby? You are the sweetest girl. So my vocal chain is a Sony C800G, a vintage late 90s, one of the really great ones. Apparently they got like really horrible and bright in like the 2010s. Not mine. So that goes into a Groove Tubes Viper, and then that goes into a Thermionic Culture, the Phoenix, which is a tube compressor, very Mew tube compressor, and that goes into the Clariphonic outboard. And I keep the Clariphonic outboard on the highest tippy top setting, and I just open up that C800 a little bit. And you know, if you hear it while you know, if you solo it, you're probably going to say, well, that's a touch too bright. And I almost never ever have to EQ vocals that I record in my mixes. They just sit perfectly. And, you know, maybe a touch of compression and whatever the right space is for reverb or effects and, you know, whatever. But EQ, almost never need it. That C800 is just a beautiful capture. That Ericsson EL800 is a fucking identical. We did a shootout, I think in September, October, on the show between my vintage C800 and the Ericsson EL800. And perfect. Then we gave one away. Let's see who's got more questions. There you go, Pat. Do you have one, Pat? Like the outboard one? You know, people see me use it on the Sony C800G and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, just listen to my fucking vocals. Just open your ears. And we know. Let's see. Let's go back to. So do I have a certain approach? Mihai also asked, hey Ken, do you have a certain approach, like the steps you take, like a recipe you follow when you mix? Yes, usually, not always. I go with instinct. I start by listening to the rough mix, and I want to absorb the artist's and the producer's intention with the rough mix, and I want to know what direction they're generally pointing this song in. You know, is it a bone dry lead vocal? Is it a dripping arena wet lead vocal? Is, you know, dry drums, big drums, heavy 808? You know, you're just evaluating and you're listening and you're going like, okay, what are they emphasizing? What's important to them? And then you kind of catalog all of that stuff, and then you mute the rough mix and you go. And with me, with sprint mixing, the way I sprint mix live on the show, 10 minutes faders down to finished, is a very exaggerated way that I start my mix. I would say on a 100-track mix, everything is in the mix in a half an hour. And then I might spend 4 or 6 or 8 more hours fine-tuning things and trying different ideas and very carefully listening and comparing and adjusting. But that initial get-together is turn your brain off, stop thinking, stop worrying about what plugins you're going to use, and put that song together so that you can begin evaluating it as a song. Not as this track and this bass and that kick and that snare and that hat and that vocal and that guitar, but this song. How are all of these instruments and vocals interacting with each other to create the emotion that the artist and producer want to create? Because as a mixer, it's your job, first and foremost and always, to help them create that most emotional experience, whatever. If it's a party, make them feel like partying. If it's, a sad song, it's gotta, you're a part of the team. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. Grant Cometa asks from the chat roll, hey Ken, what are the skills that AI can't replace? There's always going to be a need for high-level creatives. It's not that AI will replace them, but don't think that we're not going to have hit AI artists that are completely generated by computers and have no human interaction except for prompts, and the public is going to eat that shit up. And when? I don't know. In some ways, they already are. And, we're about to hurtle ourselves into the metaverse, and, the goggles are going to be a little bit big that come out this year, but next year they're supposed to be really minimal on your head. You're going to always have fully immersive ATMOS on your head whenever you're in VR. And the iteration of glasses that are coming by like 2024 are supposed to be like you can't tell the difference between real and VR and virtual reality, and then you're going to be able to like put on gloves and like go fucking rock climbing and flying and fighting, and also it's going to be nuts, and they're going to need music for all of that. So hopefully there's still going to be a need for music creators and the human touch, but I have definitely heard enough at the infancy of this to know that if we don't think it's going to be able to very perfectly mimic anything human, you're kidding yourself. It's gonna be perfect at almost everything in a whole bunch of different facets. Let me see. I'm trying to stay on track here. What is next on? Let's go to the Wave StudioVerse. That shit is bananas. I didn't put this together. Nolan did a little bit. But this is kind of documenting what Waves is doing with their new subscription and this AI training shit that they're doing. So check it out.
Now, I'm sure a lot of you got some emails from Waves this month telling you about some subscription stuff that's happening and your licenses are about to be going away. Well, they backpedaled on all of that. What they did do and have slowly been releasing over the past year is the Waves StudioVerse. Now, what's the AI StudioVerse?
I could be completely clueless, and I still know how to achieve an excellent sound.
Basically, what they've done is taken all of the plugins that Waves has you subscribe for or have licenses for, puts all of the control within one plugin. Now, we all know about chaining. Why is this different? Waves you can have it listen to your clip of an acoustic guitar, and it will tell you, A, yeah, this is an acoustic. B, here are a few different plugin chains that you could automatically use. And then guess what? Of course it goes deeper.
Okay, this is where it really gets crazy. I just hit scan and it recognized my sound completely and gave me a bunch of different preset options that I can use for this track. All I did was type in synth and it just works.
Finally, I have everything I need.
I have all the ingredients to create the best music I possibly can.
What the song is about. The first thing I would do is try to attack the vocals, and what's perfect is I can just pull up my studio rack. Now I can add my vocal chain to start to address all of the things that I would normally do inside of a mix. The amazing thing here is that you can look at it in so many different ways. Sometimes we only want to look at the rack. Sometimes we only want to look at the macros. And I'll explain what those macros are. And sometimes we want to look at them all together. I'm trying to bypass so you can hear it with it and hear it without it.
Look, yeah, in the village, dreams occur. Past the fur, the longest niggas get in they bag. I ain't mad at church. CP3, the shit in the past remain the same though. Teams be switching, the mission it still remains.
And instantly, we've gotten our vocals to a really great place.
All right, good to have you back. How did you enjoy the StudioVerse? This, I don't even know what to say about this shit. It is so fucking bananasville. The stuff that's coming at us. Okay, I'm going to take a few more questions. Amara Waldron asks, off the chat roll, hey Ken, how do you get a job at a recording studio? Do they look for specific credentials? Well, Amara, let me tell you. There aren't many recording studios left, so it's harder to get a good job at a good studio. You're probably going to enter on the bottom rung as an intern, and the thing that I've always known about Studio Land is the best interns make the best assistants, make the best engineers and producers. But it all starts with the people who take the intern portion of their job very seriously, so that the people who benefit from that work getting done don't ever have to think about it, and they can use their brain power to stay more in creative mode. And that's what you got to realize early on. Yeah, you're a grunt and the work is shit, but you get to be in an environment that you couldn't be in otherwise. And yeah, and you know, you get to learn from amazing people. So but do a great resume, put it out there, be professional. Ask yourself, if you own that studio, how would you want somebody who wanted the job there to approach you? That'll tell you. And actually, super relevant, I haven't thought about this shit in years. So there's this site called Gearspace. It used to be called Gearsluts. So I wrote 2 epic threads on Gearsluts. One was how not to land an internship. You can Google that, Gearsluts, Gearspace, how not to land an internship, Ken Lewis. And then I wrote how not to land an internship, part 2. And those 2 things will be your absolute roadmap, Bible, direction for how to get a job in the music industry. It'll show you all the things that you're doing wrong or about to do wrong, and it will tell you all of the things that if you follow the things that I say, it's pretty effective. So, and those 2 threads have come back year after year after year. I mean, I wrote them ages ago and they still resurface. People use them in university and for their kids, and it's amazing. It's so cool. Let's see. Pat Hundley from the chat roll asks, hey Pat, how you doing, bro? Pat Hundley, I think, is Pat him down EQ if you want to follow him on Instagram. Pat Hundley asks, do you find that mastering brings out your reverbs and delays more, like ketchup squeezing out of the burger? Yeah. Well, I see, when I deliver a mix to a client, it's mastered. I'm not squeezing it as much as I would expect the final mastering guy to squeeze it, but I am giving my client the exact picture of what that's going to sound like just a little bit not quite as loud. You know, there's going to be a little bit of EQ applied maybe, and there's going to be some voodoo shit, but for the most part, I deliver a mix mastered, and then I also, once the client approves that and I print finals, then I print uncompressed finals for mastering, which I always label UNC, uncompressed. And the uncompressed is usually just my last limiter taken off, or whatever my real heaviest gain stage that I'm using, just to, like, as a volume makeup. So I'm taking off the stuff that just gets me up to mastered volume. I'm not really removing anything from my mix bus that is character and you know, and craft. And so I'm removing the volume adders, and that's my uncompressed mix. Both of them go to the mastering engineer if they want to have a mastering engineer mix it or master it. And then the mastering engineer gets to hear what the client approved, which is going to sound damn near mastered. And that gives them a bar to meet or exceed as the mastering engineer. And good luck. But I just find, you know, it helps me because I know what a finish line sounds like, and I can't stop mixing until my mix is at my finish line. And I've just gotten used to going, okay, well, I need to learn some really good mastering chops because I am not satisfied listening to this until it sounds like it's on the fucking radio. So that's kind of my philosophy with things. There you go. Having said that, I've had Howie Weinberg mastering all of the obSCENE Stealers singles, and God, man. Howie mastered Nevermind for Nirvana, if you don't know who Howie is, among countless other records, but he's been smashing the obSCENE Stealers stuff. That stuff sounds so good. Ben Kruger from the chat roll asks, hey Ken, when deEssing, when do you choose to reduce wide spectrum versus narrow spectrum? Great question. I'm thinking of your multiple deesser example from last time. Thanks. Ben Kruger. So when do I use... All right, let me see if I can show this. Yeah, why not? Okay, so if I got Believer here.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been.
Okay, so I'm going to put our deesser on it. That's the only one I ever use. Literally. It's not like I'm a super fan of waves, but I've never felt our deesser has ever let me down. And I use it in several different ways. So what... I can't remember who asked me this, but what you asked about the deesser here.
First things first, I'ma say.
So when I use the wideband, it's usually when either the S or the sibilance is really wide and spread out, or when it's kind of sitting in that mid and I can't dip it out with this. So one cool feature of this deesser is this monitor. When you highlight this, then this becomes your listen frequency, and that's where the center of your deesser is. So you can turn the listen on, and then you can find the center of that harsh S. So if I wanted to just dip out the middle of the energy of that deesser, I could do it like this.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of.
But when I typically use wideband, I usually use wideband when the sibilance is kind of bright or there's nothing else on the tippy top, because then I can just put the detector up to like 12K. And it's only really going to fire when he hits sibilance. And then I'm going to go to wideband. And you can see wideband detects only what's happening at 12K. So it's only going to listen for the sibilance. But when it hears it, it's going to pull the entire track down like a normal compressor, which is different. The advantage with a de-esser, though, is it's so fucking fast that you don't really hear it. It just tames the S, and if you have an S that really travels into the mid-range sometimes this is a good way to get it. Let's hear it.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, first.
So see, it's only really hearing the tippy top of the and reacting to that. So I can go wideband with that, or I could go notch. It wouldn't do much, but.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of.
Or I could. Usually I use it kind of more like this. This is a fairly typical. I mean, that's the way it's set up, but. I'd say 7 out of 10 like this, and probably 3 out of 10 in other ways.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, first things first, I'ma say.
There you go. De-essing. Bill Spurl asks, hey, Bill. Bill Spurl asks, how many hours do you spend in the studio before listening fatigue sets in, and how do you deal with it? I do not allow listening fatigue to set in. I will take as many breaks as I need to so that my ears don't get tired. I also don't listen loud for very long at all. And I really take care of and protect my hearing always. I almost never go to concerts anymore. The few that I've been to, I have had heavy earplugs in and walked out of there with no problems whatsoever. So, you only get one pair. You got to treat them like gold. I protect them at all costs, even when I'm mixing, even on long days. Drink a lot of water. Make sure you get enough sleep. Take enough ear breaks. And don't listen loud for very long. Listen loud for a few minutes. Get that energy, get that feel, check your balances, and then pull it back down to a normal listening level and work for a while. If you're feeling a little drained or something, just get up, take a 10-15 minute walk outside, get some vitamin D in your skin, and come back in and do it again. Just sometimes getting out and clearing your head is really great medicine. Let's see, who else? Seamus Cranley asks, hey, Ken, do you have any hearing loss? I do not. I don't have any tinnitus. I'm 52. I have no hearing problems, and I guarantee you it's because I have treated these things like fucking diamond gold, platinum covered fucking ears, and I want to still be mixing records without my ears ringing for the next 30 years. So I take really, really good care of them, both in the studio and out. And I also eat really well now. I think all of that contributes to just how well your brain works and how focused you can kind of be in the moment. So, it all matters. It all helps. Let's see. We got the home. We haven't done the build your band an awesome website yet. All right, let's go to that one, and then I'm going to do... get your last questions ready. We're going to have about 10 or 15 minutes more Q&A after this segment, but we put together one final segment on GPT-4. Build your band an awesome website. I mean, it took minutes, and you'll see. It's really amazing. Let's check it out.
Coders, beware. AI's coming for you first and foremost. Ever tried to design a website? I'm sure you've gone to Squarespace, Wix, any of those other places. If you don't know HTML language, you're paying, because it's the convenience that costs. AI has come in and completely disrupted that. On the video that we're showing you here, we're going to let you see the process that we took to get from 0 to 85% of a full website that just took a little bit of tweaking with a layman that knows nothing about HTML code. Let's check this out. So we started out this whole process, again, 3 prompts are going to go in here. First one, we type in, give me a website for a band, gives us something super basic and what you would expect. That's good for one prompt. Now put some more detail into it. Let's see what some color looks on here. Let's make the fonts a little bit better and give it some more vibe. Getting closer. Now, finally, let's give it a link to a random image of a band that's going to perform just as a placeholder. HTML link, just a regular website. Put that in. Put a few more details and just tell it to write a biography. This is not a real band we're talking about, people. This is just something that we're doing on the fly, and it's going to take 5 minutes. Look at this. This is a full website that took 3 minutes, 3 prompts to get. That's with ChatGPT 4. 5 is on the way.
All right, we are back to the home stretch. 15 more minutes. If you got questions, fire away. I can show you DAW stuff. I can answer anything you want, or we can pack it in for the night. It's been, my God, the AI episode. Is your brain melted too? My brain is just meh. The execs. Hey, that's James Woods down in Florida. Hey Ken, what are your favorite plugins to use to add depth to vocals? James, Greenhouse, baby, Greenhouse. All right, check this out.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh.
I'm not done. The watering can is the most powerful thing on this plugin. Listen to what it does.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second thing, second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one.
Okay, here's the cool thing about the wet dry. As you pull it left, you're adding dry signal in front of the delayed signal, which is different on the left and the right. So you have centered dry, which keeps your stereo, your mono compatibility and your cohesion, and your phase relationship. And then you put as much of the space behind it as you want. Oh! So here is one of my common settings with the left dial on 6 and the right dial on 5. And then I'll start it half so you can really hear it slap, but then I dial it back and just give it a little touch.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second thing, second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, ooh. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the... First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second thing, second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, ooh. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook.
God, I love this fucking plugin. So if you guys don't know, if you're just tuning in, this is Greenhouse. This is our Mixing Night plugin. We have Mixing Night Audio. You can find us at mixingnighaudio.com. Greenhouse is already out. It's been out for like a year. It's like a total vibe box. I love this shit. But our next plugin coming out, we're about to enter alpha testing. We're hoping to be through alpha and beta and to market maybe by June. LOLCOMP is coming at you. It's 5 of my chains all put under the hood, all do different processes of mine. Here's the Panda chain. This is like a limiter chain with a little bit of saturation. We make the stupidest plugins you've ever seen. We absolutely love it here. My Forrest Gump friend Cliff Sims, his company Telegraph Creative, did the final GUI on this. Lori did a lot of the initial design and layout for it, and Cliff's company Telegraph Creative did the final GUI. Just magic. So fucking cool. So let's see. Who else has got DeFingers? What's up, DeFingers? Hey Ken, can you show the new plugin one more time? I just did. Hopefully you saw that. Oh my god, it's I'm so in love with that thing. LOLCOMP, it's coming. Immersive asks, how many decibels do you monitor at? Never loud for long. I would say probably 75 to 80 is my normal comfort range, although it'll dial back to 70, no problem. And, you know, I'll bump it to maybe 85 a little bit, but it usually doesn't get above 85. 90 if it's a club track, just to check it. That's it. See what the subs are doing. You know, quick checks. You can tell what the subs are doing pretty quickly if you know your room. And then, you know, the subs tell you, and then you back it back off. Like those big systems in those big studios are meant for the artists. They're not meant for the mix engineers. They're meant so that the artist can walk in and turn up the fucking speakers and be blown away by their mix. And the near fields are the ones for the mix engineers to get the shit right. Typically. That's my world. So let's see. Jam Pro Sound asks, hey Ken, I noticed a slight buzz on that vocal track on Believer. I didn't even hear that, so it didn't bother me, but I'm sure had I done a full mix on it, I probably would have cleaned that up. And you know, there's some software you can run, like RX10 might clean that shit up real quick, the isotope stuff. But a noise gate might do it if it's got a little bit of a buzz, or, you know, there's a few different tools. You know, AI is getting really good at removing this shit now. Denilson Paluk asks, hey Ken, how do you make drums that feel flat? Oh, how do you make drums that feel flat pop out more? How do you make flat drums pop out more? Well, compression is one way. So typically, if like you have here, let me show you. These snares are super compressed, so you're probably not going to get much out of these. But let's see. All right, I'm going to go to my old standby, the distressor. Dave Durr designed the distressor. What a freaking genius. Dave Durr was also on the design team for the Eventide H3000. Yeah, he's a brainiac. So, okay, if I wanted to make this, I'm going to bypass this. Listen once again to the snare. It's got a lot of attack, and that decay lasts a while, but it drops off pretty quickly. So I'm going to see if I can flatten that out and make the decay last longer than it is now, and make it as loud as the attack. And I'm going to do that with a fast attack, so I'm going to reduce the initial transient, and I'm going to do a fast release. So I'm trying to only really affect the transient and have it release by the time the body is resonating. So you hear how I'm taking the whole transient away, but now I've got this massive body of a drum. So it all depends on what you're going for. If you already have, say you're layering snares, and like this is kind of how I did the Girl on Fire snare. You know, we layered snares, and same with We Are Young. And so one hit might be a super dry, all attack, no decay at all. And then another hit might be something like this, where I'm mostly reducing the impact of the attack, because what I want is to be able to turn up the decay of it and really let the decay shine behind it. If I wanted to turn up the attack and decay, I'd still keep a really fast release, but I'd slow down the attack a little bit, and the punch would come back. All right. Hopefully that helps. I can't remember what the initial question was, but okay. Let's see. Grant Cometa asks, "Hey Ken, as an artist producer who uses Logic, are there any advantages to learning Pro Tools? Are there any advantage? Well, I don't know. I know Pro Tools because I have to, in my position in the industry, I collaborate with way too many people who use it. I'm getting sessions in all the time that come in on Pro Tools. So it really becomes like your main work tool as a commercial studio or as a busy producer or mixer. Usually you have to be using that. But if you're on the come up, use whatever is the most creative for you. And even with me, like I produce in Logic usually, and then I mix in Pro Tools and I finish in Pro Tools and I cut vocals in Pro Tools, things like that. I don't like to mix in Logic, but I will if I have to. Let's see. Music Mark asks, "Hey Ken, what is the best compressors for mastering hip hop?" I mean, it's what everybody likes. It's always to taste. There's a bunch of these like finishing boxes that are really designed mostly just to increase your overall volume to mastered and not to really color the sound much, like the Slate FGX2, the FabFilter L2, Pro L2. Those are pretty like transparent boxes just to get the level up. Plugin Lines, True Peak. But the compression on the mix bus, like I often use the Manley Varimu. I think I used it on the Sprint mix maybe. That's super gluey. That just, when you say the word glue, that's it. But it also kind of kills if you want your kick to be really, really big, the Manley is probably not the right choice. If you want your kick to be nice and strong, sure, but overly big for the song, usually that's not the right, it just doesn't react that way. So you got to pick your taste and what you're going for, and what the musical content is in your song is definitely going to dictate what compressor you reach for. And one of the great things about the Varimu is it has a sidechain filter, so you can set it so that it stops listening to anything below 100 hertz, and it passes it as audio, but it doesn't react to it. So that's what a sidechain does. Let's see. Ulysses asks, "Hey Ken, should my vocals always be at 0 dB, or could I adjust the fader?" Dude, adjust that fader. Your vocals should be wherever they feel the best, as long as they're not distorting and your track is not distorting. Here's a really quick pro tip to anybody who's recording vocals, usually to like a 2-track stereo mix of something. Step 1. Turn your stereo mix fader down, not your master fader, just the fader that has the beat on it, that individual fader. Turn that down to like -10 or -12, and then turn your headphones up to compensate. And you won't have to, you don't have to turn up the fader so high and and blow out your hearing and scream over your 2-track. You can be much more musical with it. Also, when I set vocals, I'm going to have a vocal night at some point again, and show you guys how I set up my whole vocal chain, because I think I cut vocals differently than a lot of people, and I think I do it really well. So, all right. D. Bertoldi asks, "Hey Ken, if you can, what are some tips when mixing bass and kick? What's the first thing we should look into?" Sometimes you can do that side chaining trick where you just take a little bit of momentary energy off of the bass, like the 808, or if it's hitting with the kick, or a bass guitar or a bass line that's hitting with the kick. What you do, this is going to be super quick. We're almost out of time. I can't. So basically what you do is you send an aux of your kick signal out to a compressor on your bass, and you sidechain that bass. And every time your kick hits, it just dips your bass a little bit. And just very briefly, super fast attack, super fast release. Make sure it's not distorting. And it just gives your bass, it just gives your kick a little bit more energy in that moment to breathe. And if you set it up right, the ear really doesn't miss the bass kind of momentarily ducking out. So that's kind of one trick that can really help lock those things together. Another is to just make sure that things are in tune in the low end. So if you have an 808 and you have a bass line and those two things are slightly out of tune and rubbing against each other, it's going to sound terrible. So sometimes you can auto-tune the 808 or auto-tune the bass line to hold better into the key that you're working on. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you sometimes that works, and listen and see if it does. Let's see. We got one more from Ant. Hey Ken, Ant here. To take it back to the best way to get a job in a studio, if any of the viewers here are in the Atlanta area, we are hiring interns at my studio, Icon Studios in Florida. In Atlanta, Georgia. Whoop whoop. ATL, baby. Icon Studios, stand up. Thank you, dude. Okay, let me read that again for the people who were not paying attention. Wake up. Hey Ken, Ant here from Icon Studios in ATL. If any of the viewers here are in the Atlanta area, we are hiring interns at my studio. Okay, mixing night people, anybody who applies for an internship at this studio, you better represent. I mean, don't half-ass it. Take it seriously. Take the resume seriously, the cover letter seriously. Don't just send them some random, who cares, I'll work at your place or anybody. I don't really care. Not, research them. If you want to intern at Icon or wherever you want to intern, put some time and effort. Actually, go to that Gear Sluts Gear Space, How Not to Land an Internship, and read that thread. And then you can very, very comfortably approach Icon in a very correct way, and you will have a great experience if you get hired there. So if anybody does that, good luck, and thank you, Ant, and thank you, Icon. That's really cool. That's a super great way to close the show. So, hey, it's been Ken Lewis and the Mixing Night crew. We really put in a ton of time and effort to learn a bunch of this tech and bring it to you. Big shout outs to Dominic and Lori and Jonathan and Nolan and Austin and Mazzy and everybody who helps out with the show. It's just been a great time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the AI episode. I hope your minds aren't melted too much. I'm still hopeful for our future. So for now, this is Ken and Mazzy signing off from Mixing Night. We'll see you the first Wednesday in May. Take care. All right, everybody. I'm clocking.